Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Rewind. That is your girl Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Alright guys, today we are going to be going over the latest episode of Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 2, Episode 6 called What's Free? The episode starts off with the Tejadas having a welcome home party for Lorenzo, and Monet looks miserable as heck, guys, okay? And while Lorenzo is bragging on how his daughter is more loyal than everybody there, Monet was just standing there like, please, okay? She was not happy, like I said, right? Then Zeke comes in with Ev and a couple of other teammates, and Lorenzo was like, hold up, this is a private party, fellas. So Monet had to step in and be like, babe, you remember my nephew Zeke? It's been a while since you might have seen him. So Renzo was like, oh, okay, I don't think we've ever met. Then he lets Zeke and his crew in, but he makes them get pat down first. Then we finally see Little Guap back in the picture, and he's there with Kane, of course. And when he sees Drew and Zeke giving him the side eye, he tells Kane about it. Then he tells Kane that he needs to talk to Lorenzo because he wants to make sure that he knows there's no more beef and that all that stuff that went down with Drew and Zeke, it's behind them now. But Kane tells Guap that his father is not thinking about Zeke or anybody else. He's just focused on making his comeback. But before that, Renzo was introducing Drew as his successor, right? And Kane was in the background like, what the heck is this? So obviously Kane is not feeling Drew being the one to take over the family business, right? Because he believes it's supposed to be him. Of course, he's the oldest, right? But we all know that Kane is not fit to do that, but that's another story. Then we also had a moment where we saw Lorenzo treat Monet like she's supposed to be this subservient housewife, right? And even Diana peeped it and didn't seem to like it very much, right? She also asked Monet if she needed help, and before Monet could answer, Lorenzo was like, nah, she got that, mamita, right? So I guess everyone else could chill while Monet gets to work, right? Get more shots for the fellas and bring out another tray of chicken, you know? But anyway, Drew noticed it too, and him and Diana exchanged those knowing glances that they always be giving each other. Next, Monet tells Ev that him and his big mouth are not welcomed there and he needs to get out of her house. Next, Lorenzo and Monet are in bed and he's reminiscing about old times, how he used to go out and make the money and she'd be in the house holding it down with the kids. Well, Monet was quick to remind Renzo that those days are long gone and for the past 10 years, she's kept the business going by herself. Then Renzo says, that's why I'm going to make sure you never have to put in that work again. And I also want to hand over what we built to Drew. But Monet questions how the heck Renzo even knows Drew is ready when he's been inside for 10 years. So Renzo tells Monet that Drew is the one because he has a cool head and knows how to handle himself in the streets as well. He also tells Monet that Diana belongs in the classroom and Kane will most likely be happy with his position as long as the streets respect or fear him. So Monet tells Lorenzo that he needs to talk to Drew because he has a weakness that Lorenzo doesn't know about. But Lorenzo tells Monet that he knows all about it and he saw that Drew was distracted during the party, okay? So then Diana comes in with breakfast for her papi and none for Monet, okay? Then the boys come in with a few boxes of clothes and Lorenzo tells his family that he never thought this day would come, but now that he's home, everything will be just the way it was before. And everyone is smiling from ear to ear, especially Diana, okay? But Monet was not happy at all. And I don't care what people say about Mary's acting, okay? Because all I know is that in this episode, them facial expressions, they was hitting, okay? They were everything for me. And they let you know exactly what she was feeling, which is unhappy, miserable. Next, Tariq goes before the judge with Sachs and McLean representing him and Jenny as the prosecutor. So Jenny wants no bail and the judge remanded Tariq without bail even after McLean and Sachs tried to argue that there was no evidence for any of the charges. So now Tariq finds out that his sister is back in foster care. So of course, he wants Sachs and McLean to get him out of there ASAP. That's when McLean tells Tariq that there are certain judges that can be persuaded with the right influences. So Tariq says, get me Rashad Tate and I'll take it from there. Next, Renzo, Kane, and Drew go to the bar and Drew and Renzo start bonding over what it's like to get shot. Renzo tells Drew that getting shot hurts physically, but no one tells you how much it screws with your head, right? Then Renzo asks Drew how he's doing now, right? But before Drew could respond, Kane deliberately interrupted their bonding moment to give Renzo a chain with an iced out Jesus piece. So Renzo tells Kane that a real welcome home gift would have been a proper introduction to his connect. He tells Kane to go make the call so he could talk to Drew. And then once Kane leaves, Drew tells his father that he don't need to be introduced to the connect, right? Because as long as him and Monet are around, he don't have nothing to worry about, okay? So Renzo says, you never know what can happen, right? Just like when you got shot, okay? So long story short, guys, Drew winds up telling Renzo that he's been asking around about Keno, and he sounds like a threat, and that threat needs to be eliminated. Okay, next, Monet confronts Diana and asks her why she didn't tell her that Lorenzo was getting out. So Diana says, Papi told me not to. I guess he didn't want you to get your hopes up. Then Monet says, did he tell you to steal from me too? And Diana was like, I did what I had to do to bring our family back together. Then to add insult to injury, she tells her mother that she should be thanking her for bringing Lorenzo home. And that's when Monet tells Diana that she killed a man for that money. And we all know what Diana said, right? She says, and I didn't tell you to do that. And that's when Monet yokes her up, guys, and tells her that she acting real reckless around here and she don't know who she messing with, all right? And I was like, yes, honey. Yoke her up. All right. Forget about what Diana did for her poppy and all that stuff. You know, getting him out of jail and all that. We talking about in this moment right now where she's being disrespectful to her mother. And for me, disrespect to your parents should not be tolerated, okay? I don't give a dag on what you just did for your father. And that's just the bottom line for me, guys, okay? Next, Lauren confronts Professor Milgram for lying to her about Tariq being a target the whole time. She tells Carrie that she can't take the stand against Tariq because he will hate her. Then class starts, so of course they can't talk about this right now, right? And Lauren takes her seat. Rashad comes in and asks the students if freedom is an illusion. And Rashandria was like, are y'all for real right now? Like, we really gonna stay here and act like Tariq wasn't just arrested in front of the whole campus? Like, we're supposed to just go on like stuff is normal and this is a normal day. So a couple of the other students chimed in and, some were saying like innocent until proven guilty or the words like allegedly. And then one girl acted like she was scared for Tariq to come back, if he made bail. But Professor Milgram was acting like a real witch, right? She was saying that Professor Reynolds will be missed and that Tariq will go to jail for the rest of his life. Then she tried to move on, but Rashad was like, hold on, this situation, it really broke my spirit, especially since a fellow brother in blue died, and also, Tariq, a young brother, if he is guilty, then he let us all down. So then some students asked if Tariq could get bail, and Professor Milgram was like, he's been charged with a double homicide. He can't get bail. It's not possible. And it just irked me, guys, so bad because she said it with just such a smug look on her face, you know what I'm saying? Like she was happy and like she hated Tariq. And I was like, where's this coming from all of a sudden? You know what I mean? But I do like the fact that Rashad was like, for the right price, anything is possible, right? Then he said, may I remind you that Tariq hasn't been convicted yet. And of course, this is interesting because Rashad will be the one to get Tariq out of jail. And at this point, he didn't even know that yet, right? I'm not going to go over that scene though, because I just did a separate video about it. So if you're interested and you haven't checked it out yet, please go ahead and do so after this video, of course, right? Next, Monet confronts Kane about planting Ramirez's badge in Tariq's room. Kane says, well, you said let the chips fall where they may, and the badge fell in his drawer, right? So forget Tariq as long as Zeke is good now. So Monet says, one thing about you, Kane, is that you always know how to make things worse. She tells Kane that if Tariq doesn't snitch on him, whatever they got on him could lead to Kane, which is why she made a deal with Davis McLean to get them some inside information in case their names are ever brought up, right? So she gave McLean $250,000. But of course, McLean wants double, So Monet tells Kane that they need course correct to get the rest of the money. But how will they do this with Tariq in jail? And that's when Kane tells Monet that he could get Brayden to run it. So now Monet wants to meet Brayden so she can check him out for herself. Then she tells Kane that he can't tell Poppy about this because he's going to want to stop it, change it, or run it himself. Which we saw later on that Lorenzo indeed made the announcement to the family that they will no longer be dealing with course correct and will keep their business on the streets. And of course, Monet was annoyed by this and she let Lorenzo know how she felt, right? She tells him that when he was inside, they discussed things first before coming to a decision. Now that he's out, he's making decisions without even talking to her and treating her like she's one of the kids. All right. But Lorenzo wasn't trying to hear that. He tells her that he's home now, so enjoy your retirement. And besides, I taught you the game, remember? And then he gives her like a roll of cash and he tells her to go shopping. Like it's chauvinistic. All right. Anyway, so I jumped ahead a little bit, guys. Now let's get back on track. Okay. So anyway, Monet tells Kane that they got to maintain their independence and stick and move together. And of course, after feeling like he's been pushed aside by his father, Kane agrees with Monet, right? Next, Kane tells Mecca that his father wants to meet him. And of course, Mecca wants to know how the heck Lorenzo got out of jail. So Kane lets him know that Renzo got out on a technicality. Anyway, after Kane expressed that he doesn't want to play himself by giving up the connect just so that he could be like cut out of the middle, Mecca tells Kane that his relationship is with him, not his father, and as far as he's concerned, they never have to meet. Next, Tariq makes bail, thanks to Rashad Tate, and it just makes me wonder if he and that judge have a healthy relationship or does Rashad have some dirt on him? You know what I'm saying? Either way, it's a shame that Tariq couldn't get out without Rashad's help, especially since they brought up the fact that there was no forensic evidence, right? Anyway, so Tariq's bail was set at $1 million and he has to wear an ankle bracelet and can only stay on campus, go to McLean's office, or stay at the apartment that Lauren hooked him up with. And he can't leave Manhattan without permission. So before we move on, guys, I just want to mention how Davis had to get in Sax's behind about trying to get a confession out of Tariq. He tells Sachs that you never ask a client if they did it, because once you know the truth, you can never put the client on the stand to support an alternative theory. And I really appreciated this scene because it gives us some more info on McLean and why he operates the way he does, right? For me, he's always been a sleazy, unethical lawyer who doesn't care about the truth to win a case, right? But when you look at it from his perspective, knowing the truth ties your hands and it doesn't free anything. So in a way, it could be argued that this mode of operation isn't entirely unethical because McLean makes it his business not to know the truth. And who knows, maybe if he knew the truth with his clients, he would have a hard time defending them. You know what I mean? But anyway, it was a little annoying for Sachs to do what he did, by asking Tariq why he didn't think about his sister before he killed a cop. But to be fair to Sachs, who I originally did not like, to be fair to him, he used to play for the other side, right? So he's not used to defending criminals. He's used to putting them away. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle for him to get used to this. You know what I mean? But anyway, we find out that Sachs has found a location on Tasha and she has been requesting to speak with Tariq. But both Sachs and McLean don't think it's a good idea to let this happen because they fear that Tasha will tell Tariq to run. And McLean, he's like, we ain't trying to let that happen because that means that my money's going to be running as well, okay? Next, Tariq gets back to the dorm and he asks Brayden if he helped Kane set him up. Brayden tells Tariq that he didn't know anything he was doing could possibly lead back to Tariq, including digging up Ramirez's body. Brayden also lets Tariq know that he didn't even know it was Ramirez's body that they were digging up. Anyway, Tariq tells Brayden that since he was too stupid to see that Kane was finessing him, now he's the one paying for it with 2 murders. So Brayden says, I'm sorry, but you can't put all of the blame on me. If I knew what was going on, I would have been able to protect you, but you never tell me anything. And I do definitely agree with Brayden. You know what I mean? Tariq only tells Brayden things on a need-to-know basis, the same way Ghost used to do to Tommy. And as a sidebar, this was also Zeke's argument to Monet, right? If they gave him enough info, he would have been able to protect himself with that PBA card situation, all right? Anyway, so back to Tariq and Brayden. Tariq's argument is that he always tells Brayden what he needs to know, right? Just like I said, right? But the dumbest thing was when he asks Brayden why he's even selling drugs. Like, why are you even doing this stuff? Like, there's people out here who do it because they have no other option. Why don't you just go ask your father for a job, right? And I was like, Tariq, are you freaking kidding me? All right. And y'all already know I was definitely happy when Brayden checked him and was like, you really gonna act like your dad wasn't rich and well connected too? I chose this life just like you did, and I'm tired of you putting your problems on everyone else. Then Brayden says, I admit that I messed up. My bad, okay? But you said that Kane did some messed up stuff. What the heck did you do? Because Brayden knows that Tariq is not innocent, okay? So, of course, Tariq feels stupid because Brayden, he was stating straight facts. So, the only thing that Tariq could say is, don't worry about me and don't worry about course correct anymore either. All right, so he just basically tried to put everything back on Brayden once again, right? Just forget about everything Brayden said that made a whole bunch of sense. We're going to flip this back on you, okay? Like I said, no accountability comes from Tariq, okay? So next, Brayden meets Monet and he does not impress her and she tells him that he's not ready. But she probably said this because he also let her and Kane know that Tariq is out on bail. Next, Lauren meets up with Tariq and she was acting pretty weird, guys, okay? And she tells him that she didn't think he would ever get out. And Tariq says, you would have if you would have came to the courthouse. And Lauren was like, I didn't know what to do. So Tariq tells her that they should go to her room to finish talking. But again, Lauren was acting weird, right? She tells Tariq that she's just confused right now. So Tariq tried to explain to her that she's literally all he has right now, okay? And Lauren failed to have his back in this moment. And this caused Tariq to tell her that he's done with her. If you're not with me, you're against me. Next, Lauren tells Professor Milgram that she got over on her once, but it won't happen again. She lets Professor Hotbox know that she probably failed to tell her that Tariq was being investigated because she was too busy screwing Zeke. So Professor Community tries to tell Lauren that her and Zeke is none of her business. And Lauren was like, well, y'all about to be everybody's business, okay? And I was like, yes, Lauren, go ahead. Get that steaming hot pocket out of here, okay? Next, look who shows up just in time, guys. Effie. And I know a lot of people are Team Effie, so they are very happy about this. But I don't know, guys. I don't trust her, okay? She's definitely an opportunist and she's self-motivated, okay? So whenever it suits her, she will double cross Tariq. I mean, look how she played Diana. She just finished telling Diana that she shouldn't mess with Tariq, you know what I'm saying? But here she is rolling around in the bed with him herself, right? So I wonder how Diana is going to react when she finds out about that. Also, when Tariq asks Effie if she had a connect, she tells him that his connect has better stuff than her old guy, and he stopped answering his phone a while back. So, what seems like a nice gesture that Effie has showed up to be there for Tariq in his time of need or, when he needs support, right? What's really going on is Effie has no connect and course correct is on hold. So Effie is there to see how she could keep getting this money. Okay. Don't be fooled by this chick, guys. I'm telling you. Next, Monet tells Mecca that she changed her mind and she can't continue to do this with him. Okay. She tells him to stay away from her and Zeke as well. And by the look on Mecca's face, you already know that he's not going to take that lion down. All right. And he already has something brewing. All right. That mine is going. Okay. Next, Diana thought it was a good idea to tell Lorenzo that Monet had an exit plan that didn't include him, all because she was mad that her parents were sending her to St. John's and not Stansfield. So Renzo goes to ask Drew about it, and Drew tells him about the plan that everyone was supposed to follow Zeke after he got drafted and work for him. And that Monet just wanted a fresh start. So Renzo tells Drew that he's the fresh start and Monet just doesn't get it yet. So Drew was like, all I know is that if you want this family to move on one accord, you and Ma need to get on the same page, okay? So Renzo says, you're right. Then he tells Drew that he's decided to take his advice and make a move against Kino. All right, and he puts Drew in charge of that whole thing, move carefully and all that stuff. And he says that he wants him to follow him. All right, so follow Kino. Next, Tariq tells Brayden everything, including his part in killing Professor Reynolds and about the kid who died in the pool. So Brayden tells Tariq that he always has his back no matter what. So Tariq tells Brayden that he needs him to get closer to Kane so he doesn't catch them off guard again. Then he asks if Brayden could get his hands on his father's photo album from college. And we see that later on, Brayden was able to scoop that up with ease, okay? Next, Kane tells Renzo that as far as he's concerned, he's the connect. And when Lorenzo tells Kane that he's not ready, Kane says, "You're not ready. You just got out of prison and you ain't got nothing. You're living off my mother." And I was surprised, guys, that Lorenzo didn't put hands on Kane, to be honest, okay? Because that was disrespectful. Anyway, Lorenzo tells Kane to make up his mind. Are you trying to be my boss or my son? And look, the way Kane thinks, I would say that he would choose to be Lorenzo's boss, to be honest. Like that kid, first of all, he has a really jealous streak, and then also um he just always wants to control things. So I could see him wanting to choose to be a boss instead of a son. Anyway, so next, Monet and Tariq come to a new arrangement of how they're going to do business. He sends Effie to meet up with her, but Monet basically tells Effie that just because she got Tariq trusting her, it ain't going to earn her nothing over here, honey. So we already see, look, Monet's even looking at Effie with the side eye like, girl, just because you putting it down on him and you got him trusting you, you fooled him, you're not fooling nothing over here, girl. I got my eye on you. All right, so next, Mecca sends Kane a text and tells him he changed his mind and to set up the meet between him and Lorenzo. So, of course, Kane is not going to be happy about this. You could even see in his face that he's a little worried, okay? Because this just pushes him further out. That's his main concern. Like, if I give up the connect, that means I'm going to be pushed to the side further. So this is him basically giving up the only control that he feels he may have left, okay? Now, next, Effie asks Tariq how close she's going to be working with Kane. And it was a suspicious question for me, guys, okay? So I'm really interested in seeing where that's going to lead. Effie tells Tariq that she's concerned that Kane could hurt him. So Tariq tells her that he knows what he should do, but he doesn't want to kill Kane because he'll lose anyway, right? So maybe Effie is asking so she could kill Kane herself. And if that happens, guys, the Tejadas will definitely come for Effie. Anyway, after Effie leaves, Tariq reads his father's letter again, then burns it, and that's how the episode ended. All right, guys. This episode was really good. I enjoyed it. It had a lot going on, and so there were some things that I had to kind of like skip over, but I basically talked about the key stuff. All right. There was a moment where Lauren was in there talking to Jenny saying, look, I didn't even know I was a part of an investigation, all this stuff. And Jenny was telling her, look, you signed a paper, girl. So you gotta, this is a life lesson for you. Read stuff before you sign it. All right. So we see in this episode that Lauren is just really upset that she got duped into this whole thing. She signed it. Now she's a freaking witness in this whole thing against Tariq. So it's scary for Lauren, and I hope that she gets out of it without getting killed, of course, right? And we also saw that Sax overheard that conversation because he was going there to see Jenny. So he hid. So him knowing this information, I'm wondering if he's going to take it back to McLean, and then they're going to see if they can maneuver and get ahead of it, right? I think that's what's going to happen. I hope that's what's going to happen, but we shall see. All right. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Until next time, you guys take care and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.